Good evening. I'm going to call to order the meeting of the Carver Conservation Commission for Wednesday, April 21st, 2021. The first order of business on our agenda this evening is Unit 2B on Shaw Road, shrub cutting, follow-up. This is a follow-up to our last meeting. And we just went there.
We did a site visit, yep.
And we talked to the gentleman who was requesting the cutting, and we found out through Brooke what the requirements are when a sapling becomes a tree, and pointed that out to the gentleman and told him what he could and couldn't do, and he's in agreement with that. So I think we're good on that as far as conservation is concerned.
And so out of the 30 trees that we saw, he can cut 3.
Right. Yeah. So
I
that's
mean, well, he shouldn't be cutting down that close to the pond anyway.
right.
There's no reason.
That's state law. That's not
Right.
us.
How many were already cut?
He hadn't really cut any down near the pond. They were more higher up on the hill.
Yeah. Yeah. He cut 1 or 2 that probably he shouldn't have, but that's okay.
Right. And and the neighbor was concerned because of erosion and stuff like that, but he wasn't removing the stumps or anything. So.
Right. So
I'm
I
worried
think
about the pine trees falling on my house before I do work.
yeah. So that seems to be okay.
Yep.
And I think that he understands what he can and can't do, and is going to be good with it. All right, next up, 201 Tremont Street, wall construction. This is a rock and concrete wall that's been built, 2 of them, between a new house that was built on an old site, old foundation close to it, and Sampson's Pond, with the lower of the 2 walls being in the actual pond itself. So, this was, we approved the plans for this back in December, and the wall was not on the plans. We had a similar request come to us from somebody else on Sampson's Pond about 1.5 years ago that we did not allow. And that was our precedent had been set by doing that. Someone wanted to do exactly what has been done at 201 1.5 years ago, and we said no. And for all the right reasons, because it's within the 65 feet, it's within the pond. So we have a dilemma here with a wall that can't be there. And I know that you're here to talk about it. Is there anything that you'd like to say? Can you please just sit at the microphone, please? Tell us who you are, where you live, and please sign in.
Hi, my name is, is this thing working? Yep.
Yep, it is.
My name is Danny Warren. I live at 18 Church Street, South Carver, Mass. There's really not a lot to say. I took out 2 old railroad tie walls and we replaced. Didn't realize I was doing anything wrong, so I wrote a letter if you guys got a chance to see it. Whatever you guys want me to do, I'll be more than glad to do.
Well, my opinion is that the wall should be taken out. They weren't on the plan. They are certainly they certainly change the characteristics of the shoreline. And the fact that one of them is actually in the water is almost outside of our jurisdiction and almost comes under the Mass DEP, in which case they would get their licensing division involved for building structures in the water. And that would, you would probably need to get what's called a 91,
Chapter 91?
Chapter 91 license in order to do that. Which I'm, knowing the government is probably long and drawn out. So from the standpoint of, and I'm only speaking for myself, I'm of the opinion that those two walls should come out and that the natural sand slope back to the water should be retained. Anyone else have any comments on this?
I think the fact that we denied is a very similar project to someone else in Sampson's Pond. We've set a precedent, and it would be very unfair to the other applicant that was refused to allow this. And we also run into the case where, another one that came up, where they wished to extend the wall into the pond, and we found out that there was an endangered mussel that lives in Sampson's Pond, and a study would have been done before, and they then agreed they would keep their wall where it was and not extend further. So we've had prior cases with similar issues.
That was the Lakeview Street property?
Yes.
Yep. And
Yeah.
the reason that the mussel issue came up was because their new wall was gonna go into the water, so it's basically stuff that's in the water. I mean, something above it wouldn't have, so I don't know if this would affect the NHESP's decision, because now this one's in the water, whereas the plan that they saw, it didn't show anything in the water.
Right.
I'm not
But
sure.
it would probably still be a consideration to make sure.
Where'd that picture?
Oh, yes.
No, on the wall, you got it? Yeah, I'm sorry, Peg.
No problem. What do you think, Alan?
My problem is this. You've lived on this pond for a long time. You've built on the other side of the pond. You know exactly what you can and can't do. This is in the face of, let's put the wall up and then we'll say we were just replacing some existing boards and hopefully they'll let us keep it there. The problem with this scenario is nothing personal. The problem is that it tells everybody in this town, just build what you want, and when it's all done, come on back before us and say, oh geez, what am I gonna do? I didn't know. So I don't see how we can sit back and approve something like this after the fact without, just take the bylaws and toss them. I mean, no disrespect, there's nothing personal with you, Danny. It's the next guy that comes in. I've said this how many times?
Right.
It's the next 5 applicants. We sat and we argued with a resident on that pond last year who wanted to rebuild an existing wall. And he had to re-engineer the way that wall was because we didn't like what he was trying to do to put back what was there. There was nothing here.
One thing, there was definitely other pictures of the creosote wall that was there.
This is blocks and cement and rocks. Certainly not creosote, and it's not wood.
Now, we're talking about.
He said where it used to be.
August 15th, there was creosote dock out into the water that had fallen down, creosote wall, over there, lower wall here, creosote, full load. This is stuff we took out of that pond. That wall was still there because it was in the roots and stuff of the other trees. I personally think all those should come out too, because they're still leaching creosote, big time. We took 2 dumpster loads of blocks, tires, motor blocks.
Oh, I don't doubt there was all kinds of garbage down there.
But don't deny that there was definitely a wall there. And what I'm saying is, I didn't think I was doing anything wrong, but if I did, and I did, I'm not gonna argue with it, I'll take it out.
Okay.
So, but I just wanted to see I was trying to do the right thing.
I don't doubt that for 1 second.
You see the wall here, that wall is 6 feet high, all creosote, and it steps down here and goes all the way across there. and it was all horrible. And when the water was out, that's when we took it out. And it took us, we started it at the middle of August, we didn't finish it till almost October.
Did you see this?
I did. You had them, right? In fact,
So,
I mean,
Those might, I
what I'm
don't know if I
saying is
made those
didn't
or not.
intentionally try to pull a fast one, and I wouldn't do something.
No, I don't think
Right.
you
Yeah,
did.
No, no.
right. Well, I mean, first of all, we don't know how long the creosote wall has been there. Those are railroad ties. They could have been there prior to the wetlands bylaw being.
Probably.
They were
They
Yeah.
could have been there from the time since this pond got dug.
Right, right. They could have. And I think, you know, I don't want to speak for the rest of this commission, but I think had you come to us with the wall on the plans, we would have asked you to remove it.
Yes.
So, and I think we would have been consistent with that, just because of the rulings that we had done with other people on
And I
it.
wouldn't ask for anything different.
Okay.
The only thing I'm asking for is, when we wait till the water drops back a little bit, because when we did it, we had 8 feet of land, you know?
That makes sense.
That's fine. The water's, I know the water's very
I
high.
do it slowly so that whole thing applies to the pond.
Right.
It's-
Right, I mean, looking at the picture now, it looks like it's starting to pull away a
I
little
put
bit.
up 3 walls, they're all loaded with sand, trying to hold it back.
Yeah.
So,
I mean,
Yeah.
three, you know what I'm trying to say, silt ones.
so if you remove the wall, I mean, there's gonna be, just so everything doesn't erode, I mean, so it needs to kind of be flattened out up to, and then
Well, if it's
above the
sand-
wall is there a
If it's
bank?
sand, it should be okay. I mean,
Right.
the rest of the homes around the pond
Yeah.
have sloped beaches or
Yeah.
sloped.
And there's a natural bank there, right, where you put the
Yeah,
first
because
wall?
it's right next door, between that house and the house
Yeah.
from the water to the right of it, there's almost you can almost drive into
Yeah,
it.
but he's
It's all
pulled,
railroad ties.
Yeah,
That, to be honest, in my opinion, all of those things need to be gone. Because if you look at the videos, they're still running, the ones I took out, they're still running creosote, an absolute mess.
he's pulled all that vegetation out. So how long do you think it's gonna be before all of this area up in here winds up down in there? Because there's nothing to stop it now. So I guess my question becomes now is, do we do more damage in taking the wall out? Because there's nothing here like there was to stop this from flying right back in the, and this is all gonna wind up down here.
unless you hydroseed it, unless you put hay bales or
He's
something.
got this all opened up.
Right.
So once you pull this out, this starts to slope, and this is gonna slope back all the way to that foundation.
Left to its own devices, in 3 years, it'll look like this.
It'll vegetate.
It'll vegetate, so,
Provided the whole hill doesn't go away in the
well,
meantime.
then the hydroseed or, you know, something temporary to hold it back. But we can't allow this.
I don't disagree with that, but I think we need to have a better idea of what is gonna happen if we just go ripping this out of here.
Well,
See what I'm saying, Jim?
I do, I do see very much, yeah.
There's nothing here.
Yeah,
Where there was all that vegetation,
right before.
there was a little wall here, but this vegetation held it. Now, once you take all of this out of here, everything up on this hill with the next rainstorm's gonna wind up in the pond.
But
I wonder whether piles should be driven along the front
Hey,
of this
Bob?
wall to hold it. from
Maybe you could
down
think of something.
Well, we could well, what about the hay bales?
Maybe you could think of something so that it doesn't, you know,
It's
collapse.
not gonna really hold.
I don't know.
No?
You could take a look at it and see.
There to let the roots.
Yeah.
You might have to really
The way
dry
it was.
some
So we don't do more.
pressure treated 20-foot posts
I don't
in.
Think?
I'm just concerned.
I know, I understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
I get what you're saying.
I mean, I see this all the time
Right.
on job sites. This is the whole hill winds up at the bottom in the
Right,
slump.
yeah,
Well,
No, there's nothing to prevent the erosion, but-
That's the big problem.
but the wall's
Yeah.
gotta go.
What are the black things? Have you got piles in there? Have you
That's for the
put,
deck,
um,
footing.
footings for the deck?
Yeah, those are fittings for the deck, those are plastic.
Okay.
I wonder if he were to drive some more down.
That's what I was saying, we gotta wait until that water gets.
Yeah.
When we did it, the water was way out here.
Yeah.
But we
I'd
gotta,
like to continue this, so
I
we
think
get a
you're
better
right.
handle on what's
Yep,
going on.
yep.
We could do more damage.
We
than
don't wanna do more
I think-
damage.
Maybe
that's-
June, May or
that's the whole
June.
We
point.
do not wanna do more damage, but the
No,
wall,
I
gotta
get
find
you,
something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it is steep from
All
where
right.
it's got the
Do you,
top
do
wall.
you have a resource to look into what can be done to hold back, kind of quick?
For like you mean erosion control?
Yeah, I
Maybe
mean,
you could do it in stages,
How
take
about-
the very bottom one out first, leave the second one in there, let that settle down, and then see where it goes from there.
Well, how
and
about,
then
how about
pull the
those,
second one out.
how about those mats that they use? You know, the mats that they hold the, well,
What about like the grass mats? that-
yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
We had water over there, the last big wind actually came over this wall, and was hitting this wall.
I can see how what the,
yeah.
Yeah, and we certainly don't want to
The
do
water's
anything
high.
to damage the
There's
beautiful
no
house.
question the water's high. It's about where it normally is.
I'd like to continue this until we
Yeah,
get
because
a
it needs a
better
lot of thinking. I just
Okay.
wanted.
Yeah.
No, I know, yeah.
I just don't want us to make a knee-jerk reaction and have it wind up,
No,
you know, you
we
come
don't
back
want there
in
to
a
be
month
any
from
harm
now and say,
done.
listen, here's
And
what's
it's a
going
mess.
on.
It's a
Okay.
mess.
The whole yard is now in the pond.
Right.
Right.
And a $600,000 house.
Yeah, and now what?
Yeah, we don't
You know?
need that.
All right,
So remember, the house is on a 4-foot foundation, it's not on a basement.
right.
That's a real
Oh.
So
concern.
you start eating your way back to that.
Yeah, I know.
I just don't want to open, I don't want it to become a knee-jerk reaction.
Well,
I do agree.
Do you know
We gotta-
anything
we
like
gotta-
that?
We have to
Like-
address it.
Are you,
Yep.
are you
But we
aware of
need to
anything
address it the
like
right
for
way to
that,
do
that
it,
kind
so
of,
we don't do more
you know, like
damage than we
erosion
can.
control and
I'll
stuff?
strip clear that
for
area.
temporary,
Okay.
like,
Isn't there a
erosion
temporary review
control?
committee that the planning board uses?
I mean, I was gonna say, maybe
Call
Bob
on them
might,
to
might have some
give us
ideas.
some advice.
we can maybe talk to Fuss and O'Neill.
Yeah.
I know.
Good.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
And,
I can tell you when it comes to walls, and I've dealt with seawall erosion as well.
Right,
And,
right.
Stuff was rotting.
The idea of hydro seeding here, you really want to have some plantings that are going to have rapid root.
Yeah, that's what I-
Yeah, I was gonna say some
Yeah.
plantings you could,
All right, so I'll accept a motion to continue this.
To continue this.
For a month, you think?
201 Tremont Street
Two
for,
meetings?
yeah, let's do a
let's
month.
do the 19th,
May
May 19th?
19th.
I'll second that.
Wait a minute, May
The
19th,
first one's-
21st, yeah, okay.
First one's the 5th, yep,
Yeah,
Next
yeah, all
one's
right,
May
let's-
5th, so May 19th's a month.
okay.
4 weeks
Yeah.
from
Between
tonight.
now and then, we'll take a look and see what we come up with for answers.
Right.
If we don't have enough answers yet, we can get a hold of Mr. Warren and just continue it.
Fine.
Yeah, and maybe, you know, well, Danny said he can look into a couple of things that he's used
Maybe
before.
we can have Fuss and O'Neill take a peek at the drawing too and see what they think for a month.
I actually did a wall at a house I own in Merrimack, New Hampshire. It was the same animal. And I can talk about that now, or I can talk about that at the next meeting.
Yeah, that's probably better at the next meeting.
Yeah, it'll give me a chance to get my head around it, but it took it.
Yeah.
To be honest, it took it 5 years, but it's really stable and nice. I want to keep, when Brooke contacted me, I just stopped. So I want to keep working on the house, but I won't do anything on that front.
Okay.
Okay,
I'm gonna put the deck on, because it's half built, but
Yeah.
no more down there.
well, that'll even help
And I'll
with the
try to have
erosion.
good ideas when I come back. And,
Okay,
Okay.
All right, so
Motion made.
motion made.
Jim seconded.
Jim seconded. All those in favor of continuing till May 19th, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? None. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, guys.
thank you, Danny.
That's no problem. Thank you.
Take care, Danny. Thank you.
All right, next up, Lot 105, Rochester Road.
This desk may be-
Yeah, this is the plan, the A&R plan. And Mike from JC Engineering just wanted to talk to you about a couple things about this.
Okay.
And have they already,
What plan?
Everybody needs to speak.
did they already accept they already got in it? You have the A&R plan? Planning board approved that?
No.
Oh,
They
okay.
They wanted us to come to the commission.
Oh,
first
right, okay, that's
to
right.
Get your feedback.
That's right.
Before I go back to the
Okay.
planning board. But basically, what we're trying to do is we're trying to divide a roughly 30-acre parcel of land on Rochester Road with 3 lots. 2 of them being buildable, 1 of them being an unbuildable lot. The first lot, which is on the northern side of the property, is going to have a house down the road. Not right now, maybe a year down the road, 5 years down the road, we don't know. But right now, what we do know is we want to create this lot out of this parcel of land. And we want to show the commission approximately where we want to put the house and the driveway coming off of the existing driveway that's there now. Because there are 2 entrances going into the parcel, one to the north, that's going to service lot 1, and one to the south, that's going to service lot 2.
Is this the one you currently have cleared the trees on?
I have not cleared any trees. I don't know about any trees being cleared.
This isn't across from the new houses that got built? No? Okay.
No. So what you see on the plan, I know it's a busy plan, and you have an 8.5 by 11, so it's even gonna be busier. But you'll see a rectangle that's located on Lot 1, just on the west side of that man-made pond. It's a minimum of 100 feet away from the pond and the wetland. The only thing that's gonna be located within the 100-foot buffer zone would be a spur driveway coming off of the existing traveled way that's there now.
That's a little green thing?
That's that
Yeah.
little green thing, exactly. So you see the brown lines there? Those are all traveled ways, about 12 feet wide or so. There is no proposal to change any of those. We're just literally going to utilize them for access and then coming off of it with a branch, essentially, with a new driveway to service the home. And it's exactly what we're planning on doing to the house that we're proposing down the road for Lot 2. But this house is actually much farther away from Rochester Road. It's over 100 feet away from the bordering vegetated wetland. And it's also going to be located outside the 200-foot riverfront because there's a river that borders the southern lot. But again, with this one, we're going to need a driveway that's going to go to the house. So what we are proposing on doing is, there's an existing driveway that comes off the southern end of the lot that services this particular lot number 2. And it goes parallel to the river and the wetland to a certain point. And from that certain point where it changes direction, if there's a fork in the road essentially, we're going to propose a new driveway at that point and then run it over to our house. So we're basically here just to get kind of feedback and input from the commission so that I can go back to the planning board and explain to them that I did go over the premise of what we'd like to do in the future, and they didn't have any objections to it. Or maybe they do, and that's what I'm here to find out.
This down by the bridge,
Yes, it is.
this is where Ryko's taking all that sand out?
Yes.
And,
Yeah.
and just to remind you, they have an ANRAD for this.
Okay.
Yeah, that we approved.
So the Hall Road that they're using now, you're not going to continue to use?
Which road, sir?
The Hall Road that they're using for the trucking in and out of there now, is that going to become the driveway?
My understanding is there are 2 entrances to the site. I don't know which one you're referring to, but the one to the south. Which side?
The
As you're looking at the property, there's a big wide road to the left.
That's right, we'll continue to use that one.
So that's what they're using for a Hall Road. They've got gravel down on that, they've got some reground asphalt so they can get in and out.
Yeah, and
The other one, I think, is over on the far right, but that's closer to the river,
that's correct.
which is really a bog road.
Yeah.
Do you have a bigger drawing of this? You got a bigger?
I do.
Did I peek at it?
I thought about that when I ran these off. I was like, kind of puny.
Gotta go easy on us old guys.
Sorry about that.
Like magnifying glasses. Oh, look,
Actually, see where it is.
there's a
Before you
thing.
walk back, can you just draw on here your proposed road, so I have a clear idea?
I know, it's hard to see.
Okay, now I see what you're doing. It's just way too much going on in that little.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, so now you can see the new driveway right there, and then your house in the middle there.
Okay. And there's already a road here? A bog road or a
No,
road?
they shouldn't.
No, when you do an A&R plan, it has nothing to do with this being built.
Well, the only reason I ask is
You know,
because
planning board shouldn't even be
when
asking
there's
that, but anyway.
parameters that the fire department's gonna require.
Any issue with this at all, Steve? You want to look at the big plan?
I'm looking at it. There's one little area that I'm just wondering if they can look at.
What are you looking at?
Right here.
You know, whatever they.
Okay,
Right here.
okay, thank you.
From here to here on this project.
What they're doing is using the existing
Yeah,
road.
I understand that, but if they go straight here, or they just jog it a little, go across here, you're outside of the 100. 'Cause you're still within the 200 of the river, but you're outside of the 100, you know? So-
And it would bring it more in line with the existing road.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I need a big plan, this is too
So say we,
So he's saying to take this portion of the ground and slip it up there on 100.
So,
Yeah.
We just have a quick question.
on your southern, where are we looking, north, yeah, on your southern lot, where your driveway comes in, he's gonna show you, but he'd like you to kick that up a little bit so it's out of the 100.
Mm-hmm.
Looks like it would straighten the driveway out, actually.
Puts almost its entire stretch outside that.
I'm gonna, what are the grades?
Yeah,
Not
because
good
this right
noise?
here looks like.
Yeah, the
weird.
grades are
See with them, but this is.
This is
100
where they're
foot.
pulling
That's his
all
own line.
that material out of
Gotcha.
And into the, between.
here. Yeah, it's way in the back, that's.
So you're saying shift it over?
Shift it up just to this
Oh,
part.
that's
Yeah.
blueberry farm, right? Oh, yeah, oh, yeah, oh, that's neat.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that works.
Ooh, things don't work, it's so tiny. Okay.
I don't see any issue with this at all.
No, I have no issue with the northern house.
No?
That's coming off a pretty existing road, and it's just a straight shot in. And if we could just move that little section of the southern driveway up out close to the 100-foot, a little closer to the 100-foot, just for that stretch. There's still a bit of it in the 200-foot riverfront, but we walked that, and that's fairly steep.
Yeah,
That's a good
That's not a
climb.
big, that's not a big issue.
So,
Yeah.
I'm not too concerned about wetlands or affecting wetlands up there. It was a large riverbed and a lot of wet around the river,
Yeah.
way down the hill. So
yeah.
I don't think that that's going to impact too much where it is there. So that's my only suggestion, would be to move that little section of that driveway to the north,
Yeah.
just a little bit, to have
I
it
think,
parallel.
and I think you guys have done are you involved in the earth removal also?
No.
No? They've done a great job in keeping the street, and they've just done, they've done a nice job in there clearing that out. I understand it's gonna be blueberries or something like that. That's a great idea, and yeah, I got no issue with this at all.
Okay.
Mr. Chair, if I,
So does planning,
Yes.
is
Want
planning
the big
seeing
plan?
like the location of the houses?
no, I just want to compare,
have not
we're
yet.
we're
Okay.
comparing apples to apples.
And they're really not supposed to.
Well, that's the thing, I understand I have to come back in front of the commission
Right,
with a.
right,
with a
right.
intent.
We'll sign it.
Which is all you have to tell them, that's all you should tell them, right. And you got the INRAD,
And I got the NRED.
Right.
Now I simply need to get the approval now required,
Yeah.
signed off on, so we can
Right.
record it.
Right.
Make
Oh,
it
it's an
legal,
A&R, so we do.
and then the owner can sell the lots.
right, right, right.
We can keep this?
Ellen, excuse me.
You may.
Could Dan see the?
Yeah, Dan,
plan?
what was your question? I'm sorry.
Just, the gentleman had drawn, I'm coming here, sorry.
All right,
I was waiting for the music to stop.
there you go. He has to see.
We should
Yes.
sign that one.
Okay, all we're trying to do, right here, this little section, right here. See, right here, it goes into between the 100 and the 65?
But I mean, Alan,
If-
when you think about it.
Just
you know,
this little
planning
section, if
board
we
should-
shift that to the north, we'll stay just
It's an
at about the
A&R.
100
know.
foot.
Why planning's involved at all.
We did the INRAD, that's all they asked for.
House is outside the 200-foot riverfront.
The planning
And this,
board
if you
doesn't
remember,
do A&Rs.
you were on this, this was pretty steep. Remember, there was that.
I don't think
that
they know
road
what they
that went
are.
up this
They
sort
don't
of a
understand
walking
what they
trail,
are.
went up the side of the hill. This is very high. So I don't really see that this is, even though it's within the riverfront, I don't see it having an impact. Because this was very wet and very, protected. So-
You're good? Give me back my big plan.
It's mine now.
Okay, you spectacles.
No, I'm good, I just wanna, this is the one we're gonna approve, so.
Okay. So Brooke, what are we doing on this?
I think I just wanted to get something to go back to the planning board with, I mean, because when they file, when they come in with the houses and things, they'll have to file with us.
So you wanna make a motion that
So-
we have no issue with this plan as it's drawn?
Well, we're with the one little change.
Oh, okay.
With the one little driveway.
Yeah.
You're okay with that change?
I am okay with that change, but I did hear something from this gentleman regarding fire department to make sure that the existing roadway that comes
width.
into the site is gonna be adequate to provide access to those homes.
Right.
I don't see a problem with the northern lot, but perhaps the southern lot, the fire department says, hey, 10 feet wide is not gonna be wide enough for our fire trucks to get through there, and you need to make it, let's say, 12 feet.
They may want 12 feet.
I think that's fine, as long as you move that little section
Yeah.
farther north, I
Yeah.
think that's fine.
Okay.
All we're trying to do
Yeah,
is
if you can
move
kick
it.
that north and then give the fire department whatever they want.
Whatever they want, okay.
So,
Yeah, I just gave that, Mr. Chair, just through you, I just gave that suggestion so that we're not setting him up for failure. Just so,
Right.
you know, as you
And
go
not
to
having
planning.
them come back, yeah.
Yeah.
I think that, you know, this is a good plan, I just think that there was the option there to move that little section further away from the river, so. I
so I'm
think
gonna
we should-
circle this and
Yep.
point a little arrow to the north. I'm gonna ask this gentleman to initial it.
That's fine.
Is that all right with you?
That's fine by me. Like,
All right, so I guess I'll accept a motion to accept the plan as amended with the possibility of the driveways being widened to fire department specifications.
Okay, I so move.
All right?
Second.
Second?
Okay.
All right, we have a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, we're good.
You all right with this? All I simply said was, we're gonna move that north, just out of the 100.
Or parallel
Or
with
as
that.
much out of the 100 as you can get.
All right, so this intersection is 100.
I mean, when you think about it,
Road here, so we're just saying come off.
Yeah, come up and get it up as high as
Yeah.
we can get it,
Okay, yeah.
that's all.
Yeah,
That's all I'm asking for. So if you're okay with it, just initial it anywhere, and then we're gonna initial the same drawing,
Okay.
and then we're all on the same page. Today's the 20.
21.
21.
and this is exactly what we need to go back to the planning board.
Oh, don't worry, they'll give you.
All right.
It makes it crazy.
what's that? Wanna hang on that?
This is,
Yeah.
no, you can have it back, because I know that you'll hold me again, hold it against me.
You poured my plans.
I do have one question. The existing gravel roadway that accesses the property to the north and to the south, if a portion of it is within 65 feet of your wetland, do we need to ask for a variance for that existing gravel road?
Only to pave it.
Where there's no plans of paving it?
And we would,
No, if
We wouldn't let
you're
you-
holding the footprint that exists there,
Yeah?
and you're not making it a pervious surface, no.
No. However, if the fire department wishes for us to widen it, let's say 2 feet, now we're encroaching a little bit
Yeah,
further.
get a hold of Brooke.
Get a
Just
hold of
let her
Brooke.
know.
In that particular case, if you did have to widen it towards the 65 or within the 65, then yeah, you'd have to come back to us, but,
Okay.
you know, that's,
It wouldn't be an issue because it'd be a
No.
fire department request.
right.
Okay.
But we'd still have to follow
Right.
the rules.
and as long as it's not paved.
I signed it for Concom, you can sign it, pass it on. We're good.
All set?
Yes.
Okay,
All right, thank you.
Thanks,
so
Mike.
much.
Okay.
Good luck.
all right,
Thank
If
you.
you have any questions, just get a hold of Brooke.
yep,
I will. Appreciate it.
thank you.
Sure.
Okay. Next up, cleanup at Pine Ridge Condominiums.
Oh. Oh, I just figured, well, we went and talked to them. They were doing a cleanup last week,
Okay,
and we went and told them what they could and they couldn't do.
okay.
They had their little checklist and everything, so I just wanted to mention.
And we replaced or,
Oh, the new post.
Sorry, Peg.
we identified where the plaques that
Right,
had
the new
fallen
plaques have to
down
go, yep.
needed to be replaced.
Right, that's right,
And
yep,
they're gonna take care of that.
yep.
Well, thank God we got that out of there.
Hey, it's important.
Every once in a while.
Been up since 3:30 this morning, so
Yeah, I
I'm a
can
little
tell.
punchy.
I'm starting to tell. All right, so.
So cleanup is good at Pine Ridge, thank God.
Yeah,
If you-
good. Everything's good.
It's so important.
These are all, I know, top of mind to you. All right, so we will go to the minutes after we go to our new hearing. So,
Okay, that plan.
new hearing. Notice is hereby given in accordance with the Massachusetts Wetlands Protection Act, MGL Chapter 131, Section 40, and the Carver Wetlands Protection Bylaw, that a public hearing will be held at 7:15 PM on Wednesday, April 21st, 2021, Meeting Room 1 at the Carver Town Hall to hear the notice of intent submitted by Gale Head Development for the proposed construction of a 1.4 megawatt ground-mounted photovoltaic solar array The proposed array is to be installed on an upland bog located on the property. The solar array is located within the 165-foot buffers to the resource area bank, bordering vegetated wetland and isolated wetland, and will require a variance from the Carver Wetlands Protection Bylaw. The project is located at 0 Meadow Street, Carver, Massachusetts, map 82, lot 1A, Carver. All interested parties are invited to attend.
Oops, good one.
Hello again.
Good evening. You all look so familiar.
We know you.
Everyone from beautiful sunshine to pouring rain
Sure.
and a day.
Good for the bogs, though.
Yeah, let's hope you're right.
I love these addresses. Where exactly is 0 Meadow Street?
It's all cobblestone.
Next to number one.
Which is across.
Next to number one.
Yeah, about 200 yards down Meadow Street from the Pine Street exit.
Okay.
Good evening. I'm Christopher Wagner from VHB. I'm an environmental scientist representing the applicant. With me is Lucas Ria, who you met earlier today as well. He's from Galehead. I didn't intentionally block him. But I'm here to present the notice of intent for this proposed solar array on the addresses, as we mentioned, with 0 Meadow Street. It's off Cobblestone Lane. And there's an existing two single-family houses there that most of you that were there today saw on the property, and a series of cranberry bogs, which you can see on the plan. We delineated this property last year, 2020, and there's a series of bogs that we've labeled 1 through 5, just basically to keep them straight. And bogs 4 and 5, and a portion of bog 2 were constructed, I think, sort of earlier on in this property's history, in an old, what looks like an old oxbow of the Weebiantic River, which borders this site to the west. And the other bogs, particularly bog 1 and bog 3, were constructed from an upland soil. And there's a report that we have as an attachment to this filing that details those findings. We went and did soil surveys of this property last year in October of 2020, and did some test pits in each of bogs 1 and 3, and made those determinations that the area is an upland soil. We also looked at some historic photographs and historic USGS maps to make that determination as well. The historic soil map shows that the area was previously was Carver sand, and it's a very sandy, well-drained upland soil. And when we were on the site walk today, we could sort of see the existing conditions of the site, which is that bogs 1 and 3, well, we didn't walk all the way up to bog 1, but bog 3, which is where the project is proposed, is significantly higher than, for example, bog 5, which is adjacent to the river. It is basically gets its hydrology only from irrigation. They have to pump water into these bogs to irrigate it, and it doesn't really hold water on its own long enough to be a wetland area. So it's really not a jurisdictional area, and that's our the findings in our report sort of substantiate that. So the project is I think it's a 1.4 megawatt solar array. It's going to be contained entirely within bog 3. The array is as shown on the plan, and I actually have a slide here.
You want to look at these?
This is the area of the
Those are like the
project.
soil stuff. You did a couple of those. I didn't know if anybody wanted to see those. We didn't look at them, and
So the arrays are oriented basically, north to south. There's a small
it's obvious.
concrete platform that's proposed in the northeast corner of the site, sort of farthest away from all the resource areas. That's where the access would be. That's where the inverters would go, and the other equipment that's pertinent to the array. And then the array would be surrounded by a 6 foot fence. So the project was designed basically to stay out of the resource areas as much as possible. None of the array, including the fence or any other portions of the project, are within the 200-foot riverfront area. As we discussed on the site walk today, we do have work proposed within the 200 riverfront area, and that specifically is to pull the cranberry plants in the bog to replace them with a native wildflower meadow mix. These have been shown to work pretty well with solar arrays, and it will increase the biodiversity in the area. Species diversity will, it's designed to attract pollinators and would be an improvement over what's there now. There's no regrading proposed on this site. There's no dredging, there's no filling proposed of any kind. And we're not proposing altering any resource areas. Everything that we delineated on the site, including the closest resource area, is this channel, which we looked at today next to the bog, that drains a portion of the rest of the site back out to the Weewantic River. None of that is proposed to be altered. And the stormwater, basically, the stormwater pattern would remain as it is now. So there's really, very, very minimal impact. And that's really the project. That's the project in a nutshell. If the commission has any questions, I'd be happy to answer them at this time.
This is going to be ground mounted, not dual use?
Correct.
Yeah.
Yes, go right ahead.
So here's the question of the day. And again, everything has a reason for being asked. I take it that you're the owner? So you're going to use this yourselves. And the reason I'm asking this question is so that you don't come in here and get all the approvals and planning board and everything's all signed, sealed, and delivered, and then we sell the approvals before we do anything else. And the reason I'm asking that question is because this has happened already in Carver, and there's a huge to-do with paper that was sold, new company coming in, building something different than what was approved, and now it's one of those, what do you want us to do about it? So I don't want to see it, you know what I mean? I don't want it to go, so that's why I'm asking, is this something you're going to see to its completion, I guess my question would be.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm not trying to be arrogant, I'm just trying to, this was a bog that was leased to a solar company that got all the approvals and then sold the paper. And a new company came in and built, not what was approved. So now the bog owner is caught between a rock and a hard place, and there's going to be a to-do over this on how do we fix this. So I just, that's why I'm asking that question.
Can you tell us your name, please, and where you live? I mean, I know where you live, but, yeah.
Joan Shirtliff, 1 Cobblestone Lane.
Okay. So I think what Mr. Germain was really asking, now, I know the applicant is Galehead,
Yeah, it's kind of.
and I guess the question that Mr. Germain is really looking for is this power going back into the grid?
Yeah, it's being sold directly back to the utility, in this case Eversource.
That's not my, but go ahead.
Oh, okay.
So
Okay.
I think, if I may, what you were alluding to is in terms of whoever's developing the project may or may not sell it once it starts construction or maybe in a different stage.
Before it even begins. This
Yeah.
instance that I'm talking about was a project that was proposed and approved, signed, sealed, delivered. We signed off on it as conservation. Planning signed off on it. Everybody signed off on it. And then before 1 inch of dirt was moved, the whole project was sold, including the lease, to another developer
Yep.
who came in and built something that was
Different.
not what was
Different.
approved. So now, by the time the stop work order came down, a good portion of it is in. In fact, they're almost ready to plug it into the light pole. And now there's an argument over, this is not what we approve, this is not what we want. So that's why, that's the only reason for my asking that question. I'm certain that it's not an issue, but it's something I want to make mention. We're trying to construct bylaws now that will prevent this sort of thing with happening without the new purchaser coming back to the boards and committees to at least inform us that we bought this project. Then it gives us an opportunity to say, okay, let's show you the drawing again. This is what you're going to do, right? So we're trying to fix that for the next time, unfortunately, so.
Wasn't the height of the panels different for the new
Yeah,
ones?
they were supposed
Yeah.
to be 8 feet off the, 8 feet off the ground. They're 11 and a half feet off the ground. They were supposed to stay inside the drainage swale, and now they're actually sticking out onto the bog road. You can't get around it. You can't fence it. It's a total disaster. So where it's gonna go from here is anybody's guess, probably to court.
Okay,
So, yeah, just like to address that real quick, I definitely understand what you're saying, familiar with the concept, because it does happen a lot in the industry, being essentially transition the ownership. In our case though, Galehead intends on being the long-term owner for this project, so I don't see as that becoming an issue down the road.
Perfect.
Just wanted to add that.
I don't care if you build it and then sell it, that's fine, but as long as,
Yeah.
As long as
as
it's
we're
built
all on
the
the
way-
same page,
Right.
that you don't just take the piece of paper with the approvals and say, hey, this is for sale, who wants to buy this?
Right.
Because that's where the problem comes in.
I also want to point out that at your suggestion, after this other issue came up, that we now take one set of plans that are presented here tonight and, if approved, we sign off on them. We have you and as the applicant sign off on the plans, and we all sign off of them, and they go as part of the record. So if there's any change at all that has not come back to us,
Right.
we have the right of stopping
Okay.
anything that happens, so.
Just on that point, we did have a meeting last week with the planning board, and we discussed a few, I believe, minor changes that might come to the drawings.
Oh, the TRC, yes.
Yeah, so we'll definitely sign off on them today, but if there are any minor changes, we'll present it.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's fine. And then we'll have revised plans that will
Yeah.
become.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
All right.
There's no DEP number on this anyway.
Oh, yes, there is.
There is.
I'm sorry, it came after
It's not
the
on
agenda.
paper.
It came after the agenda was posted. 6:20. 6:20, right?
Does anybody else have any
What is it?
questions?
6:20. 126, 6:20.
I have two very simple questions. The outside of the fencing where you're going to put the meadow seed mix, I'm assuming that will be mowed once or twice a year to keep the height of everything
Right.
down so it doesn't interfere with the panels. You're not gonna let it run wild.
Right.
And you said there wasn't going to be any fill, but I'm assuming that the irrigation ditches are gonna be,
Yeah, sorry.
Filled in?
Within any resource area, sorry.
Okay.
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
All right, so,
We're not regrading the bog itself.
Right.
But there would be, yeah.
yeah, you're gonna fill that in so you can mow it
Yeah.
easily and take care of everything. Okay. So I just
We got
wanted to
no
make,
problem.
make sure that was clear. Okay, that's all I had.
I have no problem with this at all.
No, this was,
A
It was-
little tiny bit in the 100, the
Yeah.
fence is inside, outside the 100, inside the 65, that's no big
Yeah.
deal.
It was pretty obviously an upland
Yeah.
bog, too.
yeah, it was very dry.
This looks really good.
Great.
Good luck.
Sorry, I did have a minor
Oh,
Oh.
thing.
Dan,
no,
Badger.
no.
Thanks. So just on the northeast corner, there's I see the pad there, and there's the vehicle access area. And, you have some of it going into the, past that 100 foot mark. Is there gonna be any regrading or building up of that area, inside the 100 on that corner?
You're talking about.
It's
here?
just,
Where
it's
that
not
little
much.
turnaround is?
Yes, right there.
Yes, that would probably need some minor regrading.
Huh?
As long as you don't pour cement on it, we're
Right.
good.
That's the 100 foot from the other bog, right?
Yeah, it's this little tiny stick out.
Oh, okay, the buffer from the bog,
Yeah,
yep.
it's one of those things, it's not a big section, but it's small enough too that
Yeah.
it makes me wonder if that can't just be shifted away, so. Only because when things like this get developed, 1 foot becomes 10 feet
Right.
too often, so.
But I think that if you come in there with anything bigger than a small, tiny pickup truck, then coming in off that bog road, making that left and a quick right
Mhm.
to pull it down closer, it doesn't help you. You need a little bit more swing room, so
Yeah, this is really, yeah.
I don't
this is
really have a
obviously
problem with it being where it
Just
is.
for a turnaround.
Yeah, no, I see the orientation of it such that it's in line with the array, and I get that, I'm seeing a space down here where it could be oriented, so it's not even in the 100 at all, so that's all.
But that may not work, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah,
If they
yeah.
come in with a utility body or something like that that's got a longer wheelbase, then they won't make that swing, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I get it.
Yeah, and I would also just point out that that in between here and the other bog is the berm and, and this access.
Oh, the
road that
dike road,
goes
yeah.
in between the other ponds, so.
Yeah,
Right.
no, I was just wondering how much that would be built up, that's all.
Yeah.
Thanks.
I have one other question. It was just a curiosity question that I raised today on the walk. How big is the bog?
So
Acreage?
the array is 3.5 acres.
Okay.
So I think, and I didn't get to measure the full bog area, but I believe it's somewhere between 5 and 6 acres total.
All right, so, we were close. We were close with our guess. All right, are we done? Any other questions from anybody?
Good. What are you looking for?
All right. I will entertain a motion to close the hearing.
So moved?
Second?
It's been moved and seconded to close the hearing on 0 Meadow Street, NOI SE 126-620.
620.
Yep.
All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? No?
So you want a motion to approve?
Approve the NOI, and then we'll approve the variance.
All right, so we'll approve the NOI as drawn on the plans dated. Latest issue is April 8th, 2021, the site plans
Yep.
Yep.
for 0 Meadow Street, NOI SE 126-620.
We have a second?
Second.
Been moved and seconded to approve the NOI for 0 Meadow Street, SC 126-620. All those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? None? You approve unanimously. Now I will accept a motion to...
Why do they need a variance?
Yeah, my
Because-
understanding is we wouldn't need a variance.
They don't need a
The
variance.
Structure,
Oh, nothing in the 65?
Nothing in the 65.
yeah.
Well, they're ripping up the bogs and putting down
It's nothing,
aren't they?
no?
Not within the
Fence is
60.
outside the 65.
The other buffer is, the only buffers from the other adjacent
They're
bog.
not in the 200.
Right, and they're not in the 200.
There's a little tiny bit in the 100, but that just needs a permit. That doesn't need a variance.
The work in the 65 would be in bog 3, closest to the,
Right, pulling up the
Closest to the
cranberry
river.
vines and planting the grass.
there's no
We don't
structure
need a
being
variance for that?
enlarged
I
or.
don't think so, because isn't that part of agricultural?
Hmm.
That doesn't,
Well, this would be coming out of agriculture.
yeah, but I
And
don't
it's
think-
not impervious. I mean, it's not becoming,
Right.
it's still gonna be pervious.
But it's still upland, right?
It's an upland bog, yeah.
All right.
And I don't think it needs
You
it.
don't think we need one?
I
No.
don't think so, no.
All right.
Agricultural,
Right.
Yeah, I don't think it
Well,
needs
it's
it, no,
not.
because it's an upland bog and,
exactly.
So it opens, to be clear, this opens no doors to other activity in that section that we're,
no, because it's still the 100, the 65.
All right, so I don't know if we need to change the agenda, because the agenda says a variance is needed and the work is being done within the 165 foot.
Oh, it does?
So if we want to, if that's not...
Oh, okay. I can,
You
That's
could
fine.
issue the variance.
So it doesn't-
It wouldn't hurt,
That's fine.
but I don't think it's necessary.
All right,
It's an
then
upland bog.
you've got everything you need.
Yeah, this needs an okey-dokey.
yeah.
Okey-dokey.
Okey-dokey.
Jermaine,
Okey-dokey.
okey-dokey.
Yep.
That's fine.
So I'm gonna take this plan here, and I'd like you to initial this plan. John, if you want to initial it too, and then we're gonna sign off, we'll sign off so that we have the plan will be on file. And if any changes made to it, just let us know. And we can come in and make the changes, and then you can initial them again, and then we'll initial them again, so that we keep a record of, we're trying to get away from just reading what's in the permit. Because sometimes what's in the permit and what really happened is two different things.
Aren't the plans part of the permit record though?
In a perfect world.
Right, yes, because
Right,
they're
but
on,
that-
they're on the
but-
order of conditions.
They can,
But
they can get
the-
updated.
Not necessarily in a perfect
Not
world.
necessarily are the same plans shown to the same groups.
Right,
So it's
Right.
our initial.
That's the issue.
I see,
Then we know
Yeah.
what we've approved.
yeah.
Right, and that gets
And
put onto the
comparing
order
it
of
to Something
conditions.
that someone else sees, we can say, hey, that's not what we approved, because here's what we got. That's
Right,
only
but the
thing
order of
we can do.
conditions has the one that you've approved.
Oh, what's that?
Yeah, the order of conditions has that plan that you've
You
approved.
sign there, and I'm gonna have them sign it over here, and then we'll go through it. You have to initial all these things.
Okay.
We're gonna need stamps, because there's a lot of things. Unfortunately, like everything that ever happens, there's always an oops that causes this kind of stuff to
Right.
go on, you know what I mean? Anywhere you're comfortable
Just
signing.
initial?
You can initial, you can, whatever you recognize. If you wanna do that, that's fine.
Anyway.
Anywhere you wanna sign it.
By the way, you have a beautiful home.
Yeah, I think.
I'm just stopped with camping recently.
Just become, this way there's no argument. Everybody sits down together and says, now wait a minute, this is what you approved. See, this is your signature. We all agree with this. It's like so much easier.
Do you live in the White House that's back there?
I was in shorts this weekend.
That's a beautiful home. It really is very nice. That's a, I never knew it was there, and I've been here for a long time.
I didn't know either.
Just gotta follow down Cobblestone Lane.
Yeah.
Where's the bog that Borrego sold to somebody else that Alan was talking about this? And they got changed it. Where? Center Street, okay. And,
It's,
That's-
what's his name?
Keep it in mind.
72 Center? Oh.
72 Center is Ed Silva, right?
I'm wondering, is that the one that was sold by Borrego?
It's Ed Silva's, yeah,
No, that's okay.
yeah. And,
You're not in the
yeah,
building with that many bugs.
and I don't, was that Borrego? I don't think that was Borrego originally, was it? I don't even know.
That's interesting, because, Mark, what's his name's house is right above.
Yeah, yep. Okay.
Mr. Vice Chairman, anywhere you'd
Hey,
like.
thank you, Chris.
Anywhere in here.
Thank you, Lucas.
Anywhere in here. Yeah, anywhere you want. Then we're gonna start.
When
initialing
is the
pages, but-
construction planning on starting, just out of curiosity?
That's a good question. It honestly depends on the utility, which is, we're still trying to figure out within the schedule. But
Okay.
hopefully by end of Q3, beginning of Q4 of 2021.
Okay.
Around October, maybe.
Are you planning on harvesting the bog this year or no? Yeah? Yeah, okay.
It does. There's no argument.
Depends when the work starts.
Right, yeah,
It is.
I get it.
Then it's gonna come back to all you guys, these initials. on
Okay.
that page.
If they're not talking till October, I can have it picked pretty
Yeah,
early in October.
yeah.
If you wanna start after you sign.
Okay, great.
where
Thank you.
Thanks very much.
Initial
Have a great night,
everyone.
everybody.
Yep.
Thank you.
Good night.
Thank you. Thanks, Chris.
Bye.
Yeah, just send it back and we'll keep going. So it's gonna come back to you, you can just start
Yeah, yeah,
initialing,
please
and
do
then it's
it.
gonna go to Jim.
Absolutely. Yes, sir.
Mhm.
Will do.
The okey dokey.
Okey dokey finoki.
All right, so, 157 North Main Street is continued to May 5th.
Yeah, till May 3rd, yep.
129 Center Street,
That's continued. They just, I think, just applied for zoning on that, so
That's
there's
awesome.
gonna be a while.
okay.
Yeah.
And
And
Wenham
Wenham
Road.
Road, 7 Wenham Road.
Awesome.
Dad,
Minutes?
I think we gotta get rid of that one. Just
All right, minutes.
close it.
Be out of here early tonight.
We could be.
Ooh, hot. Is it hot in here? Jesus. I'm using it hot. It's humid. Is,
All right, on the minutes,
Take that for you.
I did, thank you.
on page 2 of the minutes.
usually it's freezing.
Don't touch that.
On page 2 of the minutes,
Yes. proceed.
where it says sponsorship of the Orange Trail Coal Property Suspension Bridge. The first sentence, Mr. Moore began by explaining that the vote regarding this property was not in for funding.
That's the Badger Bridge, right?
Right.
Yeah.
I think we can get rid of the word in. It was just not for funding.
Just initials.
Oh,
Okay.
shit, sorry.
That's all I
We
saw.
Oh,
don't
we
need a
did
date,
too.
do we?
We didn't need your social.
Yeah.
Oh, my God, how many pages?
Holy shit. The price we paid.
I thought it was being good following directions, but apparently not.
Should have Brooke make up a stamp.
I was just thinking that.
Everybody's name on it. We'll sign the top copy and stamp the other copies.
You mean a stamp with everybody's name on one stamp?
Everybody's name on it.
Yeah.
Get a stamp.
Oh, it's a good idea.
Stamp all the pages. We'll sign the first page and stamp the rest.
We should just put the date on.
Okay.
And we're not having.
Under it.
I can
Yeah,
send
it's
you a link, because I was thinking,
It's already at the top.
What's that?
I can send you a link, I have a
Oh, good, okay,
signature
yeah.
stamp, and I recommend.
And they put 5 names on it?
Be here forever.
Frank, you
Perfect,
could
because I don't think we, I was wondering how Deb
We
would
do
figure that.
initials.
She's got a link to people, stamps.
Yeah, you could do initials instead of, you don't have to have everybody's name.
Oh, just do initials, everybody's initials?
Sure.
Oh,
And then we'll sign the top copy as long as our initials appear on every page. And we can have one person just write the date,
you'd have to give me full initials, everybody. I don't know people's middle name.
however you wanna do it. Something to save you from having to sign 47 pages.
Right. But then, what if the members change?
Get a new stamp. The razor blade, I would cut off that part of the neck.
Oh, that's true, I would just shave it off.
Razor.
Shave off the old one. Right.
Pretty complex, this business here.
It's only the first 100 years that it comes up to that it gets easy.
Yeah.
Hey, when are we gonna go see the house?
I was going to bring that up.
What else?
May
Oh.
8th,
The one we
May
bought.
8th.
Looks like they're doing a tremendous amount of work at the old house.
Yes,
yellow
they are.
house.
Tie back the whole
They
front.
had doors open yesterday,
Oh.
Yeah.
interior walls are down, they're doing it.
Can we get-
I saw beehives too in the back.
Can we get into that? You got the key and everything?
Well, the new.
For the one that we bought?
We'll have to,
Yeah.
I was going to
It's not
ask you
initialed, sir.
through
I don't think you need to date it, Jim.
Okay.
through the
Just-
administrator
Oh,
to contact Katie Wall,
oh, okay.
Katie, and just say, what do we need to do? How do we arrange to
Yeah.
have a visit?
Okay,
And we haven't closed yet. We're closing in
We
3
should.
weeks.
We should, I agree.
okay.
But,
And so we need to get the key to the house.
Time when you're available, though.
or have someone who represents the sellers
Oh, all right.
show us through.
Oh, okay.
Either way, but I
Okay.
think Katie is the person who needs to
And I was-
put
All
the,
right.
put the wheels in motion to
Okay.
get that done.
All right,
Yesterday I was in Milford.
so I'll ask Rick if we can get,
Or if she
Milford.
wants to, contact
Well,
the
I'm up
the
to there.
seller's
right,
lawyer.
right.
And Dave Eldridge just says,
Milford and Hook.
I can go show them anytime.
Yeah, yeah,
But
that's,
he can contact you.
right, okay, okay.
But I think it should go through the lawyers first.
Yeah, definitely.
I was in Milford.
Oh, Milford, I said Milton.
All right, so has everyone looked at the minutes for April 7th?
Okay,
Do you like the way they look? I believe.
Well, with my one correction,
yes,
Motion to approve as written,
no.
as amended.
As amended.
amended.
Second.
That's it.
Second?
He
All
took
right.
out the it.
I,
The minutes for April 7th have been, the motion to approve in a second. All those in
I think
favor say
that's it.
aye.
thanks.
Aye. Any opposed? None. All right, next up are the minutes from our April 8th meeting.
Executive session.
Just initial, I don't need-
Hmm?
The April 8th
Oh,
meeting
good.
is the executive
Who,
session.
It
who
was
first
the-
did it?
It was the meeting before we went into executive.
Who seconded that?
Oh, okay.
Peg,
Peg.
on the minutes, I'm so moved.
Did you second the minutes?
Peg
As
seconded
amended.
that.
Okay.
All right, so April 8th, the regular meeting. I need a motion to approve the minutes
As written.
as written.
It's written up.
So moved.
So, second.
All right, it's been moved and second to approve the minutes of the open session of April 8th. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
None opposed? Any opposed? No, none. And finally, approve the minutes of the executive session.
I so move.
So moved as written?
Second.
All right, it's been moved and seconded to approve the minutes of the executive session as written. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion to adjourn.
Whee-wee,
Wait a second.
We have a second.
goody, I can get to bed
And a second.
by my
All
bedtime.
those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Toodaloo.
Opposed? None. We're done. Thank you.